wide variety of topics yesterday on the Pat McAfee Show. Just a great interview, including where he is in his decision-making process related to returning to the Steelers. I mean, will he even play football again? Rodgers explained exactly where things stand when he jumped on with Pat yesterday.
There hasn't been any progressive conversations. You know, I love Mike, and Mike and I have kept in contact over the years. I've had conversations with Omar. I really, I think Omar, enjoyed having me there. I think the guys, had a positive response, to our time together. But again, there hasn't been any deadline set on me. There hasn't been any contract, floated in front of me for me to well, we're giving you till, March the 8th to make a decision on this contract. There's been nothing to that respect.
During the interview, he was very complimentary to everything that he has with his familiarity with McCarthy and even some other guys that are going to be on staff. So you could read some tea leaves there potentially. A reminder, too, that it wasn't until June last year that he made a decision. So, Jeremy, what are you hearing about Rodgers' timeline at this point?
Yeah, Laura, even though there's no hard deadline, the Steelers would like Aaron Rodgers to sign before June this year so they could get that off their plate, move on in building their team. But Aaron Rodgers is not beholden by deadlines or timelines, so it's still unclear exactly when or if he's going to sign. So the Steelers need contingency plans here. They do like Will Howard a lot. Behind the scenes, when you talk to Pittsburgh people, they say the former 6th-round pick from last year is somebody who came along quickly, who understands the pro game. Like, if he had to spot start a little bit, they would be somewhat comfortable with that. And they have done a lot of work over the last few years on this particular draft of quarterbacks. So they're not beholden to have to take one super early, but if the opportunity presents itself, maybe day 2, early day 3, I could see them doing that.
And it wasn't just the Steelers staff that are excited about Will Howard. In that interview, Aaron Rodgers talked about how excited he was about Will Howard and his future, not just a human, but also as a football player. So if I'm the Steelers, I'm not overly concerned or in a rush to get Aaron Rodgers signed. We talked about the Will Howard piece, and if you don't hear from him by the draft, then all of a sudden you can go and potentially go get a quarterback in the draft, right in the middle of the draft, right around number 20. And so I understand there might be this excitement or eagerness to have Aaron Rodgers come back. I don't think that needs to be the case for Pittsburgh. They have a contingency plan with Will Howard, and they also have that 20th pick in the draft to be able to get a guy, and then we keep on saying that Ty Simpson name, the number 2 guy behind Fernando Mendoza, but they have that opportunity as well.
Yeah, if they miss on Ty Simpson, could it be a Carson Beck potentially? And maybe they even go that route even if they have Rodgers come back. Going to be fascinating to see what they do. All right, they will not have Jonnu Smith, though. You saw this news yesterday. Now it's official. The Steelers have officially released tight end Jonnu Smith. Keep an eye on what they do at tight end going forward, as well as today. Adam Schefter, tell us about the trade that went down between the Bills and the Bears.
Laura, everybody had been waiting for the Buffalo Bills to make a move at wide receiver. Some thought it might be next week, but they went early. They got out in front of it and traded a second-round draft pick today to Chicago in return for DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick. DJ Moore now will step into Buffalo and become a top target for Josh Allen as Buffalo looks to upgrade its offense under new head coach Joe Brady, who, oh, by the way, worked with DJ Moore in Carolina. The Chicago Bears had a glut of wide receivers. They obviously have Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, last year's first-round draft pick, and they felt like they could move on from DJ Moore comfortably now, save some money against the cap, give them more flexibility next week, and add another valuable pick before the 2026 NFL Draft that you talked about in Pittsburgh coming up.
Yeah, now I'm real excited to see what they do next week. It's already been a busy offseason for the Bears. Haven't even hit free agency yet. That is next week. You got the Moore trade. Their center, Drew Dahlman, as we told you, retired. A little surprising at age 27. New offensive coordinator. I mean, that's a lot going on in 1 month. Sam, we start with you. Do you like the move for Chicago?
I love the move for Chicago because of the young weapons they already have that are on rookie contracts. And now what I'd love even better with Chicago, who's in a win-now mentality, would be to go and get Tyler Linderbaum to be your center to help protect Caleb Williams, to be able to get it to Rome Odunze and Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, and then go and get an edge player in this free agency. Cam Jordan just talked about him being a free agent. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's Trey Hendrickson. But this is a win-now mentality for the Chicago Bears. You have a quarterback on a rookie contract, an offensive play caller, and Ben Johnson, who is everything that the Bears fans expected and hoped, and a defense that can take the ball away. Now you just need a center and an edge rusher, and you're all set.
Oh, is that it, Sam? We'll have that done by dinner. Look, you have to win for today and develop for tomorrow. Here's why I like this trade. I love what they did with Luther Burden a year ago. 47 receptions, 2 touchdowns. So he had a chance to kind of get his feet wet, a little bit under the radar in Chicago. They need him to take the next big step. There's no way you can pay for all the things they need. And Sam, I agree with that list. So you have to develop from within. And I think Luther Burden was a key to this trade. You free up much needed cap space to attack other needs, and Luther Burden needs to take a big step for them next year.
Yeah, they had a lot of faith in him. Many other teams did, and really could have, if he can take that next step you're talking about, could have ended up being a good steal. Jeremy, between the Dahlman retirement, the injury on the O-line, does the cap savings here help Chicago make some sort of big move in free agency next week?
Yes, Laura, they do have some flexibility to try to add an edge rusher, and they do want to add one to some extent. Now, when I ask around the league about the Max Crosby sweepstakes, Chicago does come up on occasion. Now, it's uncertain whether they're willing to pay the price. It's going to be at least one first-round pick, maybe two to pry him away from Las Vegas, but they're involved in a lot of these discussions. You have Jonathan Grenard with the Vikings, who could be available via trade for maybe a day 2 pick, or you could go Trey Hendrickson, or you could go lower tier, but they'll get somebody in the next couple weeks, I believe, to help on the edge rush front. And then they clearly need a center. Tyler Linderbaum, though, is going to be probably above $20 million a year. We're talking, on a new deal. That's going to be tough for anybody.
Yeah, Tyler Linderbaum is poised to become the highest paid center in the National Football League in the next week, and the Bears do have a couple of needs to address here. You mentioned the edge rusher, Jeremy. Center is another position with the surprising retirement of Drew Dahlman, but today's move gave the Bears some more cap flexibility that they will need entering next week. I still think they're on the outside looking in regards to a Max Crosby trade, a potential trade there. There are a lot of teams checking in on Max Crosby, and there's still no firm indication that the Raiders are willing to move off him. But if they are, it certainly sounds like Chicago would have to beat out a lot of other teams, and it sounds like right now that might be challenging.
Yeah, who's on the inside looking in for the Max Crosby sweepstakes if he's available?
Well, I think right now you're watching the Dallas Cowboys out there. You're looking the Buffalo Bills today. A move like that, I think, hurts the chances that they could execute a big move like that. And again, I think there are a lot of teams circling around Max Crosby. It feels like, as I've said, the volcano is simmering beneath the surface, Laura. We're waiting to see if sometime in the next week it actually erupts.
Eruption. Really fast, what are they going to ask for him? Like, what would be a worthy cost to get a player like Max Crosby?
Well, they have said that they are looking for a Micah Parsons package. Do I think they'll get 2 ones in return? I don't think so. I think that that's a bit ambitious, but they also reserve the right to hold on to him and not trade him unless they get the offer that they want. They also don't feel like they are in a rush to make the move. They can make the move this week. They can make the move next week. They could decide to wait until before the draft. They even could hold on to Max Crosby and not trade him at all. It's not like they're all into moving him, but there certainly are a lot of teams circling around him and checking in to see what the price would be. My guess is it's slightly less than what Micah Parsons came in for last year for Green Bay.
Yeah, Adam mentioned Dallas. They are a key team in this equation because they want to support their new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. They believe in revamping that defense, and they know it's going to take multiple pieces. So they're looking at the edge rush market. They're looking at linebacker. They're looking at safety. So Cowboys, I know we always talk every year, are they really going to spend or are they just going to go on the cheaper side of things? I do suspect that they'll do something here in the next week.
Ooh.
I think it's critical that they trade Max Crosby this offseason, and here's why. Their future is Clint Kubiak and presumably Fernando Mendoza. And I'd rather trade a player too soon than too late. If you can get 2 first-round picks, get an offensive lineman, a corner, and they basically need everything, I would do that because if not, a year from now, when you're still in a rebuild mode, Max Crosby may not get as much as all these defensive end needy teams may pay this year.
Yeah, his price is probably as high as it'll ever be right now.
Although Mike Vrabel said if he wants something, he can get it at any time.
Okay, well, interesting. Patriots, look out. Okay, some more news flying around the NFL. Adam, take us through the top stories. Let's start with a flurry of trades this week.
Well, listen, Laura, we are on Thursday, and we've seen 4 trades already this week, capped by the DJ Moore trade to the Buffalo Bills. There will be more with the new league year starting next Wednesday. This will not be all the moves that are made. More trades will be coming. We'll see the ones that come down. But you saw this week, DJ Moore, Trent McDuffie, David Montgomery, and Titus Howard all agreed to be traded away. And more trades, of course, will be on deck. Meanwhile, the New England Patriots moved on from their wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. They will save money against the cap, create a need at the position. They'll make that move next week. You see the savings right there of over $16 million in salary cap space by moving on from Stephon Diggs, who will be looking for another new team in another offseason. And the Saints' all-time franchise sack leader, Cam Jordan, is not expected to get a deal done with New Orleans, where he's played for 15 seasons, and he is now set to become a free agent next week, open to the idea of moving on from New Orleans, where he spent all his 15 NFL seasons. He's an 8-time Pro Bowl selection. We'll see if he ultimately decides to move on from the Saints, but there is an added pass rusher in the free agent market who wants to continue playing, and we'll see what type of interest he generates after he posted 10.5 sacks last season.
Hard to imagine him in a different uniform, but maybe he goes to a contender, Mike T. What do you expect the market to be for Cam Jordan out there?
One of my all-time favorite players, but he's going to be 37 this year. You know, Laura, to me, an ideal situation is Tampa Bay, right in the same division. They know him very well. They need help with their pass rush. I think you have to pay appropriately. This is more of the Khalil Max, Joey Bosa's great players towards the end. Maybe you squeeze a year or two out, 20, 30 plays a game. And maybe he gives you some production. Tampa Bay really needs help in their pass rush.
I'm fascinated by the Saints because they've been one of the older rosters in the NFL for years.
Yeah.
Now they have some young up-and-coming pieces, and they have 2 key free agents, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. Do they move on? Is it the changing of the guard in New Orleans? I feel like it might be.
Those guys have been centerpieces of that defense, to your point. But Tyler Shucks looked really good. You never know. Cam Jordan, by the way, missing just 2 games in his 15-year NFL career.